This is what everyone's talking about.
Everything's on the table.
This is what champions come to take. This is what everyone came to see.
And the slam!
No do-overs. No second chances. No more Mr. Nice Guy. This is winner take all. The NBA Finals continue on ABC and the ESPN app.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Hello and welcome to Haway The Podcast. It's Martin here, and we've got something a little bit different for you today. Now, being an exiled Sunderland supporter usually means watching on from afar, getting up bleary-eyed at 2 a.m, as I know only too well, and it also usually means only getting to a handful of games each season at best, and living vicariously through other supporters who can go to the Stadium of Light each week. Well, that's what it usually means. Because for our guests today, being in exile this season has actually meant spending the year in the Northeast, getting along at the Stadium of Light, breathing that lovely Northeast air, and enjoying firsthand the best season we've had for a long, long time. Andy and Renata are with us today. Thank you for joining us, both of you, and maybe you can share with the listeners who you are, where you're usually from, and how it came about that you decided to spend the season in the Northeast.
Good morning. How you doing?
I tell you, I'm so envious of you because we were just having a chat off air. This is the one season I have genuinely, it's made me feel genuinely homesick. It's been the worst one, even though everything's been brilliant to watch football-wise. I have never felt as homesick as I have this season, watching everything unfold at the Stadium of Light, and you two have been there to witness it firsthand.
Yeah, it's been absolutely superb. We couldn't have picked a better season, as you said. But it was purely by fluke, really. We were actually in Eastern Europe last year for 6 months, just backpacking around. And one of my plans in retirement was to come back to Sunderland, to spend the season, get a season ticket and see the lads play. And we were planning it for about 4 or 5 years' time. And last year, my wife Renata was like, listen, we're not getting any younger. Let's just go back and do it as soon as we can. And obviously, at that stage, we were still in the championship and not doing very well, really. So we sort of pulled the pin and said, yeah, great, let's do it. So we got back to Australia in Melbourne, where we live, and sort of put some plans in place, started checking out places that we could rent and things like that. And obviously, season tickets were pretty easy to get back then. So, we made all these plans and decided that we'd do it. And then all of a sudden we went through that barren spell before the end of the season when we lost 5 games on the trot, I think it was, and it was like, okay, cool, we'll be in the championship. You know, there's no problem getting tickets, and we'll be able to get away tickets anyway and see more of England by going to away games. And that was the buy-off for Renata to come over and travel a bit more. So watching the Coventry game in the playoff, that was just like, oh wow, this is unbelievable. We're actually going to Wembley, and we've got 90 minutes away from being in the Premier League, but we'll never get there. We'll never do it. It's just not the Sunderland thing, And then obviously watching the game was just, I mean, everybody's been through it. I don't need to, talk too much about it, but the feeling at the end of that was just absolute euphoria. I'm running around the lounge room, sat down eventually, and I was just like, "Yes, we're going to go into the Premier League, and we're going to be there to see us." Um, this is a double-edged sword, really, because we probably watch us get hammered every week, and it won't be the best of seasons and that sort of thing. But yeah, we ended up coming over, and it just went from they couldn't have asked for a better season, as you said. Every game just seems to have got better and better. We actually went to the Hearts game. We just arrived in Sunderland that week, I think it was, and a friend of mine, Mick Goulding, he'd organised some tickets for it, and we got the bus up there, and I'm watching that game thinking, "Wow, this is terrible." Because I think we lost that game 3-0 or 3-1 or something.
Yeah.
And then we got to the games against the Spanish teams at the Stadium of Light as well for pre-season, and we're looking at that going, "Oh wow, this is going to be a long, hard season." And yeah, it just obviously turned around from there. So it was a complete fluke. We were expecting to be in the Championship, but yeah, couldn't have asked for, as you say, couldn't have asked for a better season. It's been absolutely brilliant.
No, it's worked out pretty perfectly, I think, hasn't it? But what's your Sunderland supporting background? Where did it all start?
Yeah, my family and my grandparents and their grandparents and everything, they're all from Sunderland or the Sunderland area. Obviously my mum and dad were born in Sunderland. I've got there's 5 siblings in the family. My 3 older brothers, Steve, Ian and Keith, they were actually born in Grindon, and lived there till I think our Keith was probably about 3 or something. And we moved down to Doncaster. My dad got a job in Doncaster at the Surrey Bridge Power Station.
Yeah.
And when we were down there, my sister and I were born in Doncaster down there. I was born in 1964. My sister was in 63. And then we emigrated to Australia in 71. So I was 6-year-old going to Australia. But the whole family's been Sunderland mad, obviously, since, when I can remember. My dad used to go back in the day, and my grandparents or my granddad used to go and things like that. So it's something that you just can't get out of.
No, you can't.
As you probably know
Can't,
yourself,
you can't escape it, can you? And whether you want to or not.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I think first game I went to was probably I think 71, just before we actually emigrated to Australia. We used to come up to Sunderland for summer holiday, stay at my nana's house and things like that. So I've always had a fond spot to being up here. But before we emigrated, we actually came up for a few weeks and stayed with my nana. And my brother took me to my first Sunderland game. That's actually Ian who contacted you guys.
Yes, yeah. It's all Ian's fault, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been in dog abuse since then, so worry about that. So yeah, he took us to his first game there. So I would have been 5 or 6 years old, and my only memory of that game is Dave Watson was playing. I'm pretty sure it was against Luton, I believe. My brother was telling me the other day. And everybody, the Roker Park crowd, obviously, at its best, singing Watson, Watson, what? And I was singing What, sir? Everybody around me is lashing their head off, and I'm like, what's going on? So yeah, that was my first memory of Roker Park, and since then, it's been horrendous since.
And Renata, you've obviously been subjected to this, I presume, and inherited it. But how has the season been for you?
I've actually really loved it too. Like Andy said, the biographies that would travel for the away games, which we didn't get a chance because we couldn't get the tickets. So we've visited Europe and watched games away in Europe and places. So that's been really good. But even just the whole atmosphere and being in Sunderland, really enjoyed it. Found a place to live and just had a really great time. So
excellent. And Andy, being in Australia, as I only know too well, it's 2:00 kickoffs in the morning. It's late nights, early mornings, being grumpy the next morning because you're tired and we've got beat. But when you first went over there would have been very little, if any, TV coverage. You were getting the newspapers, waiting for reports coming through, all that sort of stuff. How was it in those early days to keep that connection, I
Yeah,
guess, with the
it was.
football club.
Yeah, it was very strange early on. Actually, it's funny when you think back of like the saturation you get now, even in Australia. I think it's down sport to have it now,
Oh,
the Premier
it's
League, and you can
fantastic
watch any
coverage.
game, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, back in the day there was nothing on TV. Obviously, I think we had Match of the Day when that was on a Monday night. I think that was, and that was about it. But you could actually ring, um, you could phone the result on Sunday morning, because obviously most of the games kicked off at 3 o'clock on a Saturday back then. Um, and that was always hilarious because first thing in the morning, all three of us, or three of us would get up and individually just ring this number, and you'd be just sitting there waiting for the Sunderland result, which was obviously we're generally in the second division then, so you're waiting a fair while. But I always remember those phone calls were so funny because the guy reading out the results, you could actually sort of know whether you'd won or lost by the time he got to the game, because he'd say something like, Sunderland 3, Manchester United 0. Just have that tone in his voice.
Yeah.
And you're sort of waiting. If he said Sunderland 2, you're waiting just to see what his voice was like, before he read out the actual result. So that was in the early days. My brother actually, Ian, used to get the football echo sent over. My nana used to save them up for a month or so and send them over.
Yeah.
And he'd just read through those, in a binge session, basically, and getting all the game reports and things like that, keeping up with all the news. And then I think at 73 Cup final, from memory, that was the first ever live FA Cup final they actually had in Australia.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So we were very lucky with that to a certain extent,
It's good. Very good time, wasn't
being
it?
the first one. But yeah, and I mean, yeah, in the early days it was very difficult to get any sort of information until the internet came along in the 90s or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
it was trips back to the UK if you were lucky enough to snatch a ticket and go and see a game.
And when you look back on this season that we've had, and the experiences of going to Stadium of Light and witnessing, some of the best moments that Sunderland's had for decades, what are some of the highlights when you look back to the season? Because there's been tons, hasn't there? What are some of the ones
Yeah,
that will live with you?
yeah, it is. It's non-stop, really. I mean, I guess the beating the Mags twice is obviously the highlight. And I actually got asked a question halfway through the season. What was your highlight so far? And I said the West Ham game, the first game of the season, just purely because of the way we were feeling heading to the game. It just a lot of anticipation and the fear of losing. It was one of those games. It was very, very surreal, and the atmosphere was just absolutely intense. And that game in particular will probably stay with me forever, because even I think at half time it was 0-0 still, and we weren't great. But neither were West Ham. So you're sort of thinking, well, West Ham have been in the Premier League for a long time now, and we're doing okay. And then obviously came out and banged in 3 goals, and it was just euphoric at the end of that. It was just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I mean, like I say, there's so many games and incidences, but one that actually really stands out to me is actually getting hammered by Forest, and then thinking, wow, what's going to happen now? Is that our season over? We're just going to fall in a heap and do the Sunderland nosedive, basically. And I'm so impressed with how the team responded to that. And I think it was 4 games after that, how well the team did. And going back to the stadium line after that game and the atmosphere again, because obviously, a lot of reporting of how many people left before half time and things like that. I actually think they were just in the bar, I mean, not actually left. But
Yeah.
Going back and seeing how the crowd responded to the team again was just absolutely brilliant. And, the team responded with some of those performances. I think the last 3-4 weeks of the season were absolutely excellent. And really, at Wolves, apart from a stupid decision that they've come out with about hair pulling, that was a game with 3 points in the bag. So it could have even been better. But
No,
yeah, there's
that's been,
tons and tons of great memories to the season.
it's been such a hallmark of the season, hasn't it? That I guess that resilience to come back from setbacks. You know, we've often conceded a goal, and in years gone by, seasons gone by, you concede the first goal and you think, oh well, that's it, we're done. But
Yeah,
this season,
yeah.
they've come back so often and really showed that, you know, determination, that mental strength to go alongside the physical stuff that they produce. But we've been able to
Yeah.
witness, and you've been able to witness some fantastic players playing the first seasons for our first season at the club, and some brilliant performances.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's been incredible. Some of the games, you look at the Newcastle game, even the Manchester City game at home where we drew 0-0.
Yeah.
But we put up such
Yeah.
a great display against one of the best sides in the country. The Arsenal game when we came back and scored the late equaliser. There's so many to choose from, isn't there?
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's the thing. You need to have a look at the list and just go, oh, I reckon you'd be going, oh yeah, that was a cracker. Oh yeah, that was a brilliant game. And you know, you go through them all. And like I said, apart from the Forest game, there wasn't too many home games where you're walking away disappointed. Really, I mean, I get to Liverpool game when we lost the home form run of winning at home. That was a little bit disappointing, and I think it was Fulham after that at home that we got beat by.
Yeah.
You know, two disappointing games. But outside of my older brother, who he still lives in the UK, he didn't emigrate with it to Australia. We left him here. He was 17 doing his schooling. So I keep telling everybody that we didn't like him, so we left him here. But that's another story. He comes up with it as well. He lives in Horsham in West Sussex.
Yeah.
And him and his mate who lived in London, they come up and stay with us for all the home games. So we've got the 4 tickets together. But honestly, early on in the season, if we went a goal down, he'd be turning around going, oh, well, that's it then. You know, we'll get beat 3-0 here, or, you know, something like that. So it's taking him a while to sort of come around to go, no, we're comfortable. We'll be all right. You know, and like you say, the setbacks, but we seem to be able to fight our way through them and come back. Whereas Sunderland of old, you know, would have been, we'll get hammered here.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. It's been a season of comebacks and a season that I think has redefined what Sunderland is as a team, and to some extent what Sunderland is as a football club as well. Because I think previously people knew what Sunderland was as a football club, and I think now it's made people rethink their impressions. We're going to take a really short break and back after a couple of ads.
Where is Daredevil? I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated.
We're gonna take this city back.
Over medicated.
In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
Welcome back to Haway The Podcast. I've got Andy and Renata with me today, and we are talking about their season in Sunderland. Now, you mentioned earlier that, obviously, without being able to get tickets for the away games, you took some trips to Europe and you went to some football matches across Europe, which is obviously good reconnaissance work for next season, isn't it, as it turns out? But where did you get to, and what games did you see?
You can do this one.
Well, we saw more stadiums than games. We watched the away games in pubs
Yeah.
in Europe. Did we see any away games in Europe?
No, we didn't see any actual live games.
We did. Yeah, we got to a couple of away games. We went to the Tottenham game. We went to the Everton FA Cup game. So we saw a couple of away games. We saw some big stadiums, so we know where they're going.
That's
we did
good.
a couple of stadium tours,
Yeah.
which is good. So,
You maybe do some guides for us for next season if we get drawn against some of the places that you've been to. You can do some guides for us. But the Tottenham and Everton away games were two good games to go to, weren't they? It was the first Was it the first trip to the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the FA Cup tie? And
Yeah.
that was probably the perfect
Yeah.
penalty shootout that you witnessed at the end of that with
Yeah,
Robin
that
Roos
was
producing his
amazing.
magic and some great
Yeah.
penalties there, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that was the atmosphere there was brilliant. I think there was 7,000 allocation for the away support, so that was brilliant. A couple of other games that we went to actually had to be in the home end. So at Tottenham, we got onto some sort of travel website of some sort, and obviously paid over the odds for a ticket, but it's Sunderland, so you do that sort of thing. And we're sitting at the way end, and it was the end that Robbie actually scored into equalise.
Yeah, brilliant.
And when they scored first, there was a guy sitting next to Renata, and obviously we had to stand up and pretend, clap and things like that. The guy next to Renata sort of giving her a hug, and he leant over and took my hand and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, no worries. And then when we scored, it was like I was just stood up and going, it's like just trying to keep the emotions intact. And it was pretty funny just trying to hold on to that. But then we actually went to the Brentford game, which was the next Wednesday, I think, after that game.
Yeah.
And saw that performance where Endo tried to do the connector or whatever they call it, penalty, and saw us get hammered there. And that was easier in the crowd to sort of sit there and go, okay, well, there's nothing to cheer about here. So
brilliant. Unless you've got sheer disappointment in your face, it's going to be hard to give yourself away at Brentford like that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And how have you found living in the Northeast again for a year or so? Obviously, it's been a long time since you did, Andy. How have you found it?
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant. Well, it's pretty emotional actually. With family history and things like that, we've been going around seeing all the houses that my family grew up in, where my parents were born, and where they lived, and that sort of stuff. So when I'm 62 now. Been a long time since I've lived here, obviously. So when you're walking down streets that you remember as a kid, although pretty vaguely, it gets the heart racing and gets the emotion up. I mean, even just walking across the bridge, the Wearmouth Bridge or Monk Wearmouth Bridge, and then down to Roker Pier, things like that, just things that you remember from your childhood. It's brilliant just to say, come on, we'll go for a walk down Roker today, and you can just do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. And Sunderland's a great city, I reckon. It's fantastic. They've obviously come up a lot in the last, 5 years or whatever with what they've been doing. A lot more places opening, and there's quite a few closing down, obviously, as well. But there seems to be a lot more interest, and hopefully with Sunderland doing well, that's just going to increase. People want to come here and open up businesses and things. So I'd be very interested to see what happens there, where the sheepfold is. In that area there that they're going to redevelop. Like we were saying, we'll come back in 3, 4, 5 years time, and things are probably going to be completely different again. So,
well, there's all sorts of plans, isn't there, for developing that area even further. I was over last June or July, and around that area is fantastic now. So you can only imagine what's going to be like once even more work gets underway.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's been so enjoyable. Renata went back for a week to see the kids back in Melbourne. One of the kids wasn't well, so she went back to show a little bit of support. And I was here by myself for a week, and it was horrible. Outside of that, it's been absolutely fantastic. Just thoroughly enjoyed it. Some great pubs and nights out and things like that. So it's been really good.
Fantastic. And how have you enjoyed living in the Northeast, Renata?
It's been good. It's the daylight hours during the winter and during the summer has been a little bit hard to get used to. The winter was cold, but not freezing. So I did look forward to the snow. Snowed twice during the winter.
Yeah.
We were in Australia for one of the times, and then we were getting on the train to go out to
down to London, I think.
To London, and it's snowing outside the station, and I had to run out and have a touch. But the North, it's a really nice area. We're walkers, so a and we've not had a car, so we've done a lot of local villages. We've visited villages, stayed overnight in places like York and Doncaster and stuff. So we've really explored the area. So that's been really good.
Lovely. And you were telling me before we started recording, you're packing up and heading off very soon. Are you heading back to Australia?
No, we're going to do a bit of a road trip around the north of England and into Scotland. I've got an auntie and an uncle that we haven't seen yet, so we'll go and see them. We'll do that for 4 weeks, and then we'll probably look at going to Europe for 6 or 7 weeks, and just backpack around for a little bit before we go back. I mean, the idea, I'd love to stay in Sunderland, but with the season over, it's sort of, you feel like we'll be twiddling our thumbs a little bit and maybe getting a little bit bored. But you know, when you're over here, you know, you come a long way. There's no point sitting on your bum doing nothing. So we sort of figure we might as well get out and see as much as we can before we do go home. So, but yeah, it's been an emotional week, to be honest. It's packing up here and knowing that you're leaving and
last time of everything.
Yeah, everything we're doing. It's like, this is the last time we're going to be here and things like that. So even at the game, like the Chelsea game, you know, the emotion at that game was amazing anyway, making Europe, you know, beating Chelsea, doing the double on them, having such a great performance. But I'm just sitting there, I literally tears in my eyes and thinking, this is it, you know, it's all over. It was just incredible. It's been an emotional year, to be honest, the whole thing, but it's been absolutely fantastic. Just loved it all. So,
yeah, brilliant. It's the last time until the next time, I would say. So you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, you know, like we were saying, we probably couldn't do this, you know, again, at least not in the next foreseeable future, unless Sunderland get relegated again, which, you know, let's hope not. But I couldn't see us being able to get season tickets again, you know, or, you know, even making the plans and renting an apartment to, you know, the buy-off there is always, you don't get a season ticket, there's no point.
Yeah.
You know, so we got extremely lucky, I think, to a certain extent. And then, like we said, extremely lucky on the other sense that we've had such a great season. So things have just worked out perfectly for us. But I'd love to do it all again, but I just don't think that we're going to get the opportunity, to be honest.
Well,
if they expand the stadium and you know, things get a little bit easier to get tickets, it'll be good. But
yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? I was going to say, in the kindest possible way, I hope you can't get a season ticket again. But if they extend the stadium, I hope you can. We'll be able to, won't we? Well, I think that is a good place to finish up on. So thank you very much, Andy. Thank you, Renata, again for joining us today.
No worries. Thank you so much, Ivan. It's been a pleasure.
That's quite right. And safe travels around the rest of your trip and obviously all the way back to Australia. We will be back tomorrow with another episode of Haway The Podcast. And of course, keep checking out rokerreport.sbnation.com, where you'll find daily written content all about the lads and the lasses too. But until tomorrow, it's goodbye from us.